Let's just get straight into the first app that I really love, which is going to be, of course, Notability. So Notability is a pretty classic app for the iPad, and it's been around for a really long time. They've gone through a ton of changes since I first started using it back in, I want to say like 2018, 2017, thereabouts. What's really nice is that now you have the ability to use what they call dividers, which allow you to categorize all of your subjects, which are these things with the little color next to them, really more efficiently. And it makes it so much easier for being able to keep all of your notes together, but also have a little bit more of an order to them. One of the things that I always disliked about Notability, which kind of made me switch a little bit to GoodNotes, was the fact that the organization just really wasn't on point. Now I think it's a lot better. It's different than a lot of people would be used to if you're coming from a computer or something like that, where you have folders and a more traditional file system, or even like the iPads, they have the Files app. This is a little bit more of a modern take on that. It does pretty much the same thing, but it's a little bit more challenging, I think, if you're somebody who's a little bit more old school. So to make that transition for you a little bit easier, I'll just show you guys some of the basic ways that we can use this. So right here, when you open it up, you're going to be greeted with this main page. On the left-hand side, you're going to have a sidebar, which has all of your subjects and all of your dividers nicely arranged. On the right side, we're going to have the active subject. So right here, we have YouTube, and this is the one that's active. And up here at the top, you're going to have an Add New button. So this will be used to create a new note. You also have a 3 dots menu, so this gives us some extra parameters. You have your view, and you can have it as a list view, or you can have it as a grid view. So if you like this grid view style, you can have it like that. I personally like the list a little bit nicer. It's more compact, you get to see more stuff. So I like this, but if you like the grid, you can go with that. You can also select notes. So if you want to do bulk actions like moving notes from one subject into another or whatever else, you can, of course, tap these. Unfortunately, it doesn't support the touch and drag feature that some apps do, so you have to tap each individual one. You can, of course, also share these guys, so you can export them to PDFs, print them out, do whatever it is that you want. You can also duplicate them, add them to favorites, or you can delete them. So that is pretty much that. And then we can go into the 3 dots menu again, and you can sort by created date or modified date, or you can sort by name. So I generally like to sort by created date since I take notes on a daily basis, and I like to have the most recent things that I've been working on right at the top. Alternatively, like I said, you can use something like the modified date, and that might help you out a little bit. But regardless of how you choose to go about doing this, I think that there's a lot of nice functionality built in here for you. So moving on to the left side, this is of course going to be our sidebar. And this sidebar functions pretty similarly to how most applications would. It basically helps you to sort through and find all of the things that you're looking for. So up here at the top, we have our settings button. So you can look here, there's about, so we are on version 14.3. If you are coming here a little bit later, you might be on a different version, but at this current moment, 14.3 is the newest. You also have some things so that we can connect with the creators. Subscription, so this is something that's kind of been added pretty recently to Notability. When I first started using it, it was just pay once and you have access to it for life. I think it might still be like that, but then the subscription is kind of like something extra. I could be wrong about that. Unfortunately, when you buy something on the App Store, you kind of lose the ability to see what the price is after that. So take that with a grain of salt. But you can, of course, unlock Notability Plus, and that gives you access to a couple of things that you don't get with the standard version. You also have a help section, so if you have any issues, you can look for help here. Auto backup, So I keep this off generally speaking. I use iCloud Drive, and iCloud Drive is built into the iPad Pro by standard, so I don't really worry about backing up to any of these services, but you can if you want to. Manage accounts, so you can log into any of these accounts that you want, and they'll help out with your auto backups. iCloud, again, like I said, I use iCloud syncing. It works perfectly fine for me. I've gone through 3 iPad Pros. This is my 3rd one. And each time that I upgrade, I just download Notability and it'll automatically start syncing up my notes. So let's say that you deleted a note or something like that and maybe you didn't really want to. Well, you actually have access to all of your recently deleted notes right here. So if you do want to recover one of those, don't worry, it's not completely lost. These do, however, delete after 30 days. So just be aware that if you are outside of that limit, your notes won't be here, but if you change your mind within a couple of days, you can get them back. So that's a really nice thing to have. It's a common feature of these note-taking apps that I love. Now, right here, we have our themes, so you can go through and you can set it to match your iOS theme experience. So if you are in dark mode, it'll automatically be dark. If you're in light mode, it'll make it automatically light. That's not something that I really worry about. I always keep it in dark mode. I just like dark mode, generally speaking. You can also use night mode if you want. And you might have seen right here that these notes here that had a white background now have a black background. So that's what night mode does. I personally don't like it too much. I like having the contrast between text and between the paper to be sort of minimal, where the paper is white and the text is black. Colorful subjects, so you can turn this on or you can turn it off. If you turn it on, this is kind of something that's a little bit nice. You can see on here on the sidebar that all of my subjects have a little wrapper around them that sort of is matched to the color of the subject. I kind of like this, so we'll actually leave this on. And then here for themes, you can have light mode. Personally, I don't really like this so much. It's a little bit too bright for me. I like to have a little bit more contrast, so we'll leave it here on dark mode. You can also, of course, change it to dark blue, so this changes some of the blacks more towards the blue side. You can also have jet black. Jet black's pretty cool. It's completely black, everything, which is pretty nice. We also have spring, so this is kind of cool. It gives you a little bit of a spring vibe. Even gives you like a little nice pasture thing down here. This is kind of cool. Summer, you get like a little beach scene with a sunrise, some oranges and other things like that. That's kind of fun. Fall, you get some nice fall colors down here with a little bit of trees. You have this nice dark red up here at the top. Pretty cool. Winter, we have some snow, little cabin here, some nice blues and stuff, which I actually pretty much like this one. You also have grape, so this is purple. Strawberry, you have like a little bit of a reddish mint. That's a pretty nice one. Jet black spooky, so this is kind of like a October theme, which is pretty nice. You have orange and black. And we have Halloween, so this is going to be purple and green. So pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff to choose from. I think right now we'll just kind of go with jet black. Close that up. All right, so here again we are back at the main menu, and again we're working through all of the features on this side of the screen. So you have a search bar. So let's just say that I was working on something recently and I want to find it. Well, if I don't know exactly where it's located, let's just say that we're looking for some kind of chemistry, right? I can type in chem, and then you'll see here on the right-hand side, all of the things that match that particular description show up here, and you'll even see that underneath the name, you get a little highlighted color with the name of the subject. So here we have electrochemistry, crystallography, quantum mechanics. So there's a whole lot of stuff here, and you can, of course, search through, find what you want, tap in it, and get to editing. So that's pretty nice to have. It's a really nice and simple search feature. Right below that, we have notes. So this is going to take all of the notes from every single location that you have and put it all in a nice row. So that way you can just go ahead and start working straight away. You also have recent. So these are a select few notes that you've recently edited. Here's some favorites. I don't really use favorites too much since I just like to keep track of things on the sidebar here. But if you do like having favorites, you can of course do those right here. And then unfiled notes. So this is anything that you don't have put into a subject. Those will be right here. So moving on here, we have gallery. So inside of gallery, this is kind of, again, one of those newer types of features that Notability's added. And so this gives you access to a whole bunch of stuff that's created by different creators. So you can have a coloring book type of thing there. You have a planner. So this is sort of like a calendar that you can mark up and write down whatever you want. There's to-do lists, simple notebooks, color palettes, all that stuff. You also have some things that kind of are reminiscent of a real life notebook. So if you're into that, you can of course download one of these. You also have some planners, some note type things, stickers. Stickers can be kind of fun if you are one of those types of people who really is visual and you like to have things sort of fun and lighthearted when you're studying for tests or exams or something like that. Or if you want to have pictures of something, stickers can be a pretty good way to do that. So you can download those, calendars, aesthetics, weekly planners, organization, study. So there's a whole lot of things for you guys to take a look at in the gallery if you are so inclined. Below that, we have a subject adder. So right here, we can go and tap on the plus button and you'll see that we have two options. We can either add a subject or we can add a divider. If we add a subject here, it'll put a little subject down here with a random color. And so we can just type in whatever we want. So let's just say that we want to call this demo. So here is our new demo subject. If we want to change anything about the subject, like the color or whatever, we can just press and hold on it. Similarly to how a lot of the iPad and iPhone apps work these days, you can just touch and hold and it gives you some more options. So we can do sort notes. So if you have a whole bunch of notes in here that are all disorganized, you can sort them. You can also insert a subject below. You can insert a divider. So let's actually go and do that right now. So we can say insert divider. And we'll say, so you see that we have a divider down here that we can open and close. There's nothing in it. But if we did want to add something, we can take our demo folder, drag it so that way you're holding on to it, and then place it so that way you see this little blue dot with a line. That means that's going to be inserted into that divider. And then when we let go, you'll see that it indents a little bit so we can clearly see that it's now inside of that divider. So moving on again to this touch and hold menu, we have the ability to edit this. So we can tap edit, and now you'll see that we can choose any of these colors for what this subject is going to look like. So let's just choose, I don't know, like a purple or something like that. So now we have a purple demo subject, and we can also rename it if we want. So we can say, so now we have a renamed subject. So that's pretty much it as far as the sidebar. And another thing to note is that if you are working with more complex structures, this does allow you to work with more complex file structures. So you can add another divider, and you'll see that now when we inserted that divider, it actually put it into our primary divider. So now we'll say sub divider. And let's just insert a subject here. So subject. So now you see that inside of this primary divider, you can close this up and all of the things that we just did go away. And if we want to see them again, demo for video, subdivider, that can fold up or unfold, and you can have as many things as you like inside of each of these dividers. So it's a pretty nice way of organizing things. I'm really happy that they added this. So now moving on to some of the features of the actual app itself. Obviously, you want to eventually get to the point where you start writing things and start actually being productive. So here we have our main screen. So when you open up a note, you'll have a couple of options down here at the bottom. You can import from a PDF or something like that. You can use the scanner. So this actually has a built-in PDF scanner, which again is really great. So you don't have to go to something like Scanner Pro. You can actually just do it right from here. Another thing to note is that Apple's Files app also has a scanner built in. So there's a lot of ways that you can scan directly into your iPad. And then we also have templates, rule, grid, and dot. So right now I have my default set to do dot paper with a pretty sparse layout, but you can change that, of course. If we go in here to templates, you'll have a ton of options. So you have from the gallery, you can load one in right here. You can also go in and load in any of these basic templates. So right now we're using dot. We can use grid, rule, or plain. You can change the type of paper that you're working on. So I like the regular white, but you can make it a little bit cooler, warmer, sepia, whatever you want. They also have hexagonal grid, Cornell note, college rule, manuscript, engineering grid, study session planner, mind map, weekly planner, semester overview, assignment planner, recipe, music. You also have daily planner, goal tracker, meal planner, finance, football, soccer, basketball, and a ton of planner type things like this that emulate what you would get if you were to use a real notebook, and then also worksheets. So coloring books and other fun sort of things like that. So if you want to change or edit any of these basic templates, you can also tap the three dots and we can change the spacing. So let's say that we want to change it to 3, and then we'll just hit apply and we'll continue with that change. And you see that now our template has taken on a little bit of a different look. Our grid is a little bit more fine now. If you want to rename your note, you can go in here and tap on that. By default, it'll be set to say note, the date, and if you have more than one, it'll start putting a little 1, 2, 3 in parentheses. So we'll just rename this demo note. All right, so now here we have our demo note. We can use any of these things that are built in. We can use a pen, we can use a pencil, highlighter, eraser, text, lasso tool. We also have a picture inserter. You can also record directly to your notebook here. So let's say that you are in a class and you get permission from your professor to record them talking. What is really nice is, let's just say that we start writing stuff down. And then we'll stop recording here and we'll go and replay that. You can also record. And you'll see that as the recording progresses, that you'll actually see your stuff that you write down comes in from being grayed out at the exact time when the person said the things that they said. So this really helps you out with your organization and memorization and other things like that. So that's a really cool feature. You'll also see that we have a couple of other options over here. So you have a zoom in option, so you can sort of zoom in on whatever region that you want to. And so if we start writing here, you'll see that we're just zoomed in on this small region. I don't usually find too much of a use for this, but it's there if you want it. You also have a laser pointer, so let's say that you are a lecturer or something like that, and you have your PowerPoint or something, and you're teaching off of it on Zoom or something, you can use a laser pointer and have it attached to your Apple Pencil. So that's pretty cool. We also have some interesting textures and stuff like that that you can play around with. And you can also move this toolbar wherever you want. You can have it on the top, on the side, on the left, right, or bottom. So that's another thing that's kind of cool. So moving on here, we also have a ruler. So if you want to make straight lines and you want to do it the old-fashioned way with a ruler, you can, of course, do that. And then here we have settings. So here are all of the settings for all of the tools. You can hide them if you want. So let's say that we don't really want to use the tape. We can hide that, or we can bring it back if we want by just tapping on the little eyeball. So that is kind of cool. You can also even double up some of these. So let's say that you like having a red pen and a black pen to work together. You can add multiple ones right there. Same thing with highlighter or eraser. So that's pretty cool. Let's just turn off this ruler here. We'll go back to the pen tool. So here we have the pen tool. You have the ability to add any type of color palette that you want. You have a couple of colors by default, but then if we click this plus button, we can add colors here. So you have a couple of pages of nice presets. You can add your own preset, or you can go like this, choose whatever color you want. Let's say that we like this. We'll click add, and now we have that as one of our customs. So you can see that now we can write in that particular color. And you'll see that I'm using the double tap feature of the Apple Pencil. So this goes between the eraser and the pen tool in this case. If I change it to a pencil, it'll go between the pencil and the eraser. So that is a pretty nice feature right there. Speaking of the eraser, what's really great about that is let's make a pretty large drawing here, and you can set it to be whole or partial. If you set it to be partial, this means that I can erase just part of my line that I drew. If I set it to be whole, which is what I normally do, if I come into contact with anything that is continuous, it will erase all of it automatically. So that is a really nice thing. It helps you to really speed up your workflow in terms of erasing things and modifying your documents. So moving on here, we have the three dots menu. So here we have the ability to quick share as a PDF. We also have share options, so you can share your note as normal. You can email it directly from this app. You can print it directly. You can connect to cloud services and share it there. You can publish it to the gallery, or you can share a link to it so that way you can do collaborations and other things like that. You also have template settings. So if you didn't change your template straight away and maybe you want to do it a little bit later, you can just go in here, change your template again. You can also go here to view settings. So seamless is what I like, and I would highly recommend seamless. It makes things so nice, especially if you're typing text or something like that. You basically just seamlessly go from one page to the next. If you're working with pictures or other things like that, text, you can just easily highlight it, drag it from one location to the next, whether it's on the same page or not. It's really, really convenient, and I absolutely love it. We also have info, so here's all of the information stuff. You can see that we have our Apple Pencil. Handwriting language is English. And yeah, so we also have the ability here to view all of our pages all at once. You can also, of course, select your pages, and you can copy them, you can duplicate them. You can clear all of the pages of any text that you've made. You can also bookmark some of them. You can cut them or delete them. And if you add bookmarks, what's really nice, let's say that we want to make this page here a bookmark, you'll see that there's a bookmark there. And so here, if we tap on this little caret icon there, you see that we have all pages bookmarked and notes. So here, bookmarks, you can see that this page shows up. Additionally, if we want to add a page, we can tap the three dots, add a page, we can cut, copy, create template, clear page, or delete. So that is a pretty cool thing for helping you to organize within a note. You also have notes, or we can go back here to all pages. Additionally, if you want to add a bookmark quickly, you can just tap the little bookmark icon and it becomes blue if it's bookmarked. If it's not, it's going to be gray. All right, so those are some of the main features here in Notability. Another thing that I absolutely love, and I think that you guys will too, is handwriting detection. So let's say that we are trying to make a nice curved arrow. We can go like this, make a curved arrow, and hold it, and you'll see that now it automatically detected that that was a curved arrow that I was trying to make, and it made it into this really nice clip art vector style graphic. So I can resize it however I want. I can make the curve more or less extreme. I can choose where it starts and where it ends. So that is really convenient, and we can also do that with pretty much anything. So if I make a box, and unfortunately, it doesn't always work as you see here. But when it does, you'll see it snaps immediately to the type of object that I want to work with, and you'll see that I can resize this however I want. It's a perfect square. I can also style this, so I can change the stroke size to make it bigger or smaller. Let's say whether we want a really big stroke size. Let's say that we also want to fill this in with some kind of a color, and we'll choose, I don't know, red. We can also make it transparent again if we want. We can choose red here again. So this is a pretty cool feature here. And it works for any of the tools. So let's say that we want to do a highlighting type of thing. So let's say that we have some text right here and we want to highlight it. Maybe we're reading a book. You can use a highlighter and you can highlight it like that. If you draw a line and you stop for a minute, it'll make your line perfectly straight, remove any errors or defects in that. You can also, of course, use the boxes or other things like that. So here, this is a rectangle, so we have the ability to freely change the aspect ratio. We also can do style, and we can fill this in. So let's say that we want to have a solid green highlighted block here. You can take this and put it over any text that you have in your document, highlight it all immediately at once. Really nice. I used to use this so much in college. You also have the ability to duplicate. So say that you want another block of the same height, or you just want another block that you can resize. You can do that straight away. You also can save this as a preset. You can copy it, cut it, delete it. So lots of really nice stuff there. Really, this makes making notes so simple, and it's really nice because I can just tap on things and drag them around whenever I want. I don't need to select different tools or other things like that. I can just freely edit the document however I want. If I want to add text, you'll see that I am prompted right here where I tap, and I can just immediately start writing whatever it is that I want to. If I get to the end of a line, it just immediately jumps to the next page. So here we're on the next page. So this is super, super convenient. And if you have it on the continuous method of writing, every time that you reach the end of one page, it'll automatically create another page for you, so that way you never have to stop and you never have to think about adding a new page. Here we're already on page 3. Here's page 4 ready for us right away. We don't need to think about stupid things like adding pages when we want to write. We just write and get our thoughts down. And so this is really, really powerful for any of you guys who are in college, or if you're just somebody who really likes taking notes and you want to be in the zone. Get that note down, get your thoughts on paper, this is the best way to do it. I cannot recommend Notability enough. Another thing that is really important about Notability that wasn't a feature when I first started using it, which sort of led me to go to GoodNotes for quite a while, is the ability to do split view. So here we have full screen. Right now we can put it into split view and we can choose another Notability instance. So this is absolutely incredible. If you guys are multitaskers like I am, this is a game changer. So you can see here that we have all kinds of new improvements. If you just download Notability for the first time, you'll get a nice box like this. Also, it might show up every once in a while when you open it, so it'll refresh you on some of the cool things that you can do. Let's add a new note. So here we have a brand new note that we're working out of with our default template, and we can just start writing on this side here. And now let's just take our lasso tool. Let's say that we wrote something down that we feel like maybe belongs better on this side. We can cut and we can paste. And right there, you can see that we have the exact thing that we wrote on this side, now on this side, and it's resizable, rescalable. Let's say that we wrote a little box or something like that that we liked on this side. Let's get rid of the fill and make it like this. Now we can duplicate this, all right? And let's say that we think that this could also go in our note over here. Well, we can paste it. And now you can see that we have that vector graphic that we can then modify straight away on this side, and we can go between the two seamlessly. So this is super, super important, and I really cannot recommend using Notability enough. This feature here was something that I wanted so badly when I was in college, and they just didn't have it at the time. Now that they do, it makes Notability the best app out there for taking notes and doing things. I really love it. One of the things that I absolutely loved when I was a student is the fact that you can do mathematical formulas and have them transfer from your handwriting into a LaTeX powered form. So let's just say that we want to say, write down the general wave function equation. So we'll say h hat psi is equal to e psi. So this is your typical Hamiltonian operator operating on a wave function to give you energy times a wave function. And so this doesn't really look super nice as it is. If we take our little lasso tool and we highlight this and then tap on it, what we can actually do here is we can say convert, and it'll say convert to text or math. And we want to do math, so I can choose math right here. And you'll see it immediately turns it into a beautifully formatted LaTeX format for our thing that we just wrote. So you can see that the Hamiltonian is nicely put into the hat. We also have our psi, which is a capital psi. Let's say that we want to change this though, because it's not exactly what we want. We want lowercase size instead of the uppercase size. We can say edit here, and you'll see that it actually gives us the ability to edit the full LaTeX. So let's just change the capital P to a lowercase p for each of these size. And let's say that we also want to have our H be just plain text instead of this italicized text. So we can just do backslash text, curly brace, and then we'll put the curly brace to close that off, and you can see that now we have a perfectly formatted regular text H. So there's our H psi equals E psi. If you guys are P chemists or physicists, you know what I'm talking about. And let's just say that we also write down a whole bunch of stuff like the quick brown fox. We'll highlight this, tap it, then go convert text, and you'll see that it converts it into text. We can say convert selection. And now we have a free floating text box that we can move around that has our text perfectly formatted and written. So if you guys suffer from bad handwriting, or if you're just in a hurry one day, you can go back and you can just highlight all of the text that you want to convert it into text, and then you have this nice, perfect computer-like text in your notes. And of course you can do anything that you want here. You can change the paper style, color, whatever you want. So you can have it look like pretty crazy like that. You can disable text wrap. You can round the corners off. So you can see that that looks kind of like a button there. If we want to change the style, you can change the color of your text. Let's say that we want to have it blue. You know, so there's a ton of things. And then let's say that you've been working on this note and you want to go back and reference a note that you made before. All you need to do is just swipe from the left, and you'll see here's all of our recent notes. So we can go here to this note, which was for a previous video that I made. Go back here to demo note, boom, back in. You can also go to favorites, unfiled, or all notes, or you can add a note directly from here. So lots of really, really cool and powerful features, and I absolutely love it. But maybe there's some things that you don't like so much about it, like with PDFs, for example. Let's say that you work with a lot of PDFs that you download from the internet or something like that, and they already have chapter markers built in for chapters, subchapters, sections, other things like that. And you just want to be able to navigate that really easily. Well, another app might suit you better.